Welcome back to Tactical and Practical. If you're watching on the Twitter or the YouTube, I apologize for the lighting, but you can enjoy a nice sunrise behind me as it comes over the Napa Valley of California. I'm traveling this week, so you're getting a podcast from the road, and it's beautiful here in Napa. I hear they make great wine. I wouldn't know. I've been drinking whiskey since I got here. But other than that, weather's been great. The views are great. Anyways, you're not going to see my face today, I don't think. Just a nice silhouette. But you enjoy the sunrise while I run through my pro checklist in this ongoing countdown to Black Friday series. And I want to explain pro. I'm not saying I'm a professional. You guys know I'm obviously not. Pro is what we call basically CRO. But we don't believe that the goal of CRO should just be to optimize your conversion rate. I think conversion rate on its own is not a metric worth optimizing for, and it cannot tell you the full story of how your business is performing. Right? If I just wanted to increase my conversion rate and I had no concern for anything else, I could run a half off sale. If I wanted to increase it again, I could cut all top of funnel advertising. There's a bunch of tactics that you could execute very quickly to see massive gains in your conversion rate, but they're not going to help you build a long lasting, financially healthy, respected brand. So that's not what we do. We call all this work PRO, profit and revenue optimization, because every time we test something on our website, we want to make sure that we are either increasing profit per session or revenue per session. And oftentimes, both those things can go together. So we call it pro, and this episode is going to be your pro checklist of what to check, what to test between now and Black Friday. This episode is brought to you by IntelliGems. IntelliGems is going to come up a bunch in this episode because we can't split test anything on our website without them. So when we're about to go over, testing prices, offers, content, headlines, copy, images, videos, site elements, whatever it is, IntelliGems is where we go to test it all. It's a super easy tool to use. It's super affordable too. Go to intelligems.io. Let them know I sent you because you're going to need it to execute what I talk about in this episode. All right. First up on my pro checklist, first you need to understand the highest impact areas of your website. So look at visitors by landing page. Look at your highest traffic LPs, and then use some kind of tool like heat maps or Clarity, or I think is Hotjar still a thing. Use some kind of heat map tool. We use heatmap.com. We're a fan of them. And yeah, that really helps show you like what are the most impactful areas of your site to test. You don't want to be messing around testing footers and testing like random pages on your site that don't get a lot of visitors. So the best way to make sure you can extract the most revenue and profit is make sure whatever you're going to test is in an area that people are seeing quite a lot. Next up, also you use that tool to check the revenue per click of every high impact element on your website. So for us, we scroll down our homepage, we scroll down some of our top landing pages, and we look at the revenue per click on every banner, on every button, on every product grid image. And what we're looking for there is basically outliers. We're looking for something that has an extremely high revenue per click. If that's the case, we want to make that element more prominent and easier for people to see. And when we find something that has a really low revenue per click, we either remove it completely and replace it with something else, or we just move it down the page. But looking at revenue per click of every element on your website is crazy important. Again, there it just kind of gives you a starting ground for what you should be testing. All right. After you have found those high impact areas of your website, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is test content, not site structure. You don't need a dev. You don't need, new button colors or anything like that. You need to be testing headlines, copy, images, and videos. You guys have heard me talk about copywriting a ton. I haven't talked as much about testing images on our website, but we've been doing it. It's super impactful. And every time we do it, we're seeing 10 to 20% swings in conversion rate, revenue per session, and profit per session on some of our highest traffic LPs and PDPs. So if there's just one thing you take away from this episode, test content on your website. I was talking to Dean Brennan from Heart and Soil last night here at dinner. Shout out Dean. He gave me some great podcast ideas, by the way. So watch out for that. But he is, getting into a bunch of website testing stuff right now. And I just didn't stop talking to him for half an hour about why content is the most important thing. I think most of us on Shopify at least, like all these Shopify themes work great. They've got so much, quote, CRO built into them from the last couple decades of e-commerce. Like, there's not a ton you need to do to optimize your website from, like, a UI, standpoint. But there's a lot that we can do better as marketers in communicating the value of our products, communicating, the pain points they solve or the benefits they bring, showcasing everything that goes into it. All of that is the most impactful thing. So if you're looking for ideas for headlines and copy to test, go check out some past episodes. I've got a ton on it, but there's just one thing you take away from this episode. Test content first and most often. It's the most impactful thing you can do. All right, next up, you're going to want to test offers. Offers can be made up of, different prices, different discounts. You can use different price anchors. You can test upsells. But offers, I put it, 1A under content of super important things to test. We price test going into every single holiday season. We have been offer testing all year to determine what our, hero Q4 offer is going to be. So if you've been running the same stagnant sale all year, if you haven't messed with any, buy this, get X for some dollars off. If you haven't tested any bundle offers, I think that's a huge miss. Most brands, I think, are not testing offers often enough. So make sure you are testing everything. At the very least, just test the prices on your hero SKUs. Test, 10% above and below, your prices right now, and just see what happens. I guarantee you're going to learn something. I guarantee that you don't have the exact right price set right now. So that's it. Test offers. First, test content, then test offers. Number 3, I want you to test ad traffic destinations. Most people have a pretty normal system of, these kind of ads go to product pages, these ones go to landing pages or collection pages. But we are starting to see some really interesting data coming from this, where some ads perform best sending traffic to the homepage. And, certain offers are strong enough and I guess clearly communicated enough to send people to PDP. And some ads have to go to one of our landing pages that has more information about the brand, about the materials. So you want to make sure, again, this is all about just making sure your funnel is as dialed in as possible for Black Friday and Christmas shopping season. You're going to want to test where you're sending people. You can do this with a simple URL redirect test in IntelliGems. And, within a few weeks can get really strong data. So there's no reason not to do this. You are lazy if you are not doing this before November 1st. So do it right now. All right, last thing I need you to do before November. I just need you to scroll through your site on desktop and on mobile and double check everything. Click on every button. Make sure it goes to the right pages. Make sure the links work. Make sure those pages that it goes to are updated. We do this at Original Grain once a month. And even though we're kind of on it, and I think our team is crushing, every single month I find something that's just not quite where I'd like it to be. It might send people to a page that's an old format, and we've updated other ones, and it performs better, but we haven't updated that old one yet. So please, 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 just double check everything. This is one of those tactics where, like, you might find some performance gains here, but more than anything, it's going to help you sleep at night this Q4. And for me, that's all I'm trying to do. So that is it for my PRO checklist before Q4. Find the highest impact areas of your website, then test content, offers, traffic destinations, and finally, just double check everything. Make sure you can go into this holiday shopping season with the most dialed in funnel as possible, with the most confidence as possible, because you're going to need it when it comes to scaling ad spend. You're going to need it when it comes to making budget decisions. You're going to want that confidence that your website is tuned up and ready to go. Thanks so much for listening to Tactical and Practical. I'll see you next time.